So, in a beautiful village next to a valley, the valley, was uphill, um, like 3 kilometers, roughly. There were two beautiful friends, who lived. They played together in the early stages of their life. Obviously, did not were much educated, and they didn't have any much education in the village. They grew up, as young adults, and they loved each other. They were very good friends with each other. And what they could take up as a work, as a living, experience to bring money in is to fetch water, from the valley. The valley water was clean, it was drinkable water. So they would fetch the water in wooden buckets in their two hands and bring it back to the village and give it to people and make money. That was their full-time job. They would do like 5 rounds in a day and make some basic living and live on that. So when they were very young, they were excited, they would do it, and they were pretty, happy doing it. It didn't matter. They will have, they'll crack jokes on the way, laugh with each other, and reach down to the village and make money, and just kept living, Few years passed by, they just came into their like early 30s after like 10, 12 years of doing it. And then this thought started crossing their mind, which is very natural for human being to think. They thought, what, we do this, which is great, but we can't do this, forever. Maybe after 50, we would lose that, strength we have. And then what would we do, to have a living? So they, started talking to each other, like brainstorming with each other and saying, we must, have to come up with a different plan. We can do this for another 10, 15 years, but after that we cannot. And there must be another way of making money. So they kept thinking, for at least a good few months, because thinking is a deep thinking with a purpose in mind. It's a very powerful job to do. Sometimes people discredit it. After many months, this one friend, they kept, brainstorming, but ideas didn't, click, do this, do that. It didn't work out for them. And both agreed, that it's not a good idea. One day, this one guy gets this crazy idea, but he believes in the idea so much and he loves it that God has given him this awareness to download, something from the universe. And that's called creativity. When you're fully present and you download something from the universe, it becomes your worldly claimed creativity. Yeah, in one level, you cannot create anything. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be, transferred. But he's very happy that God has given him the awareness of this beautiful, thought, idea, which he goes and speaks to his friend about in the middle of the night. He's so excited he cannot wait for the morning. He knocks his door and the friend comes out and he's like, what happened? What happened? Who's sick? What is problem? He goes, nobody's sick. Hang on. Breathe. It's okay. I've got a great idea for us to become financially free in a couple of years. He goes, what's the idea? Friend goes, you know what? We will build a pipeline from uphill the valley, from the water where it comes, where the water is, all the way down to the village, 3 kilometers. And we will become rich overnight. A friend goes, did you have a drink or something? Are you high? Can you go and sleep and let me sleep? It's a stupid idea. Forget about it. So he goes and sleeps, waits for his friend to wake up fresh because he thought he's sleepy. That's why he did that, discarded the idea. So he reaches out to him again and he goes, you are crazy. That's a stupid idea. I'm not coming in. He kept pursuing him for a couple of days and he won't agree to it. He said it's a stupid idea. So after many days, he had to give up on his friend, which he did not want to. But with the pain in his heart, he went on his journey to dig. After a few days of digging, he realized that if he keeps digging, there's no money coming in, and whatever saving he's got, he's going to lose it, and there'll be nothing to live on. So he might die broke. So he thought, oh, what should I do now? Then he became creative, became smarter. He said, you know what? I'll do 2 rounds every day. I'll take a break, and then for the half of the time, I'll dig. And that way I'll bring in some very basic wage, which will not be enough for the lifestyle I had before, but it'll be okay for just the basic food and for the shelter I have on my head and a bit of a saving I've got. I'll be good enough for at least 2-3 years with doing that. So he did that. Half of the time he will fetch water, make half the money his friend was making, and half the time he will dig. Now the word spread around, after a few weeks that this crazy guy is digging something for like kilometers and wants to put a pipeline and bring water to the village. And whenever he will pass through the village, people would say, "Oh, aa gaya." Stupid guy. I wants to become an international speaker. Look at him. I wants to build a pipeline. I can't even speak English properly. Whatever. And he believed in his dream. He carried on. Obviously, there'll be days when he'll be in pain and he will think, I should give up. But he believed in it so much, even in spite of the doubts, he would keep moving on. It took him almost 2 years to complete the pipeline. 2 years. And after 2 years, when the pipeline was ready, the water, because of the pressure of that uphill, flowed into the village like that within a second. Obviously, he put a tap on it because that's his property. And people came. He just opened the tap, made money. His friend went out of work because he gave cheaper money and cheaper water compared to his friend because he had to go and fetch it. And he became the richest guy in that village overnight. So my friends, it will take a while. Build a pipeline. It might take a few years. It'll be worth it.